Run that back turbo. Run that back turbo. Run that back turbo.
Weezy out of here. Weezy out of here. Weezy out.
Jumped out of a wave right into a daze. It can wreck your life. You gotta think twice. Put it together, the color I like. Know it look.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube. Today in the studio with us, we got Brian Colarusso, one of the members on our virtual sales team. He was delivering pizzas 2 years ago, and today we're actually filming this podcast in his brand new 52nd floor penthouse next to Lil Baby in Miami. Brian has completely changed his life over the last 2 years, not only financially, but also he's improved himself mentally, physically, and spiritually. So in this video, we're gonna learn about Brian's story, how he heard about the sales opportunity, what he thought before he joined the sales opportunity. We're gonna learn about his experience through his first 2 years in the sales opportunity that took him from a broke pizza delivery driver to living in a penthouse, driving a paid off Lamborghini Aventador, making thousands and thousands of dollars every single week. And we're gonna get his best tips for new people that are thinking about joining the team and what he would recommend to them so they can get the same results as him. So Brian Colarusso, also known as Big Bra, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir. So my first question for you, Big Bra, is before you joined the virtual sales team, talk to the viewers about how you knew me from before and what you thought when I first got into it. Because for everyone that doesn't know, I got into sales 5 years ago. Me and Brian were best friends growing up. We've known each other since like kindergarten. And when I first got into virtual sales, I always knew you could make a lot of money building your own sales team. So I was like, dang, I know Big Bra's a hard worker. I feel like he'd be the best person to recruit ever. So within my first couple of weeks on the job, I tried recruiting Big Bra. And let's just say it didn't go too well because, as you guys know, he didn't join the team till 2 years ago. So I was doing this for 3 years without Big Bra. So Brian, tell him a little bit about what you thought when I first joined and what your thoughts were when I tried recruiting you.
Yes, sir. So going back to what Spencer said, we've known each other for a while, since we were 7 years old. We played baseball, soccer, grew up right down the street from each other, so our families knew each other very well. When we were in high school, I went off to go play Division III college football at a small place called Oberlin College. A lot of people never even heard of it. I never heard of it before I went there. Spencer went off to go and do community college locally in Pittsburgh. So we were still boys, but we weren't really, hanging out much in college, stuff like that, different friends groups, everything like that. But he was hitting me up about it early as soon as he joined. I already knew about it because his cousin was previously in the business as well. So he talked about it in high school a little bit. But I was automatically intrigued because I saw he was making money. I always wanted to get into sales. I was a business major. I didn't really know what that was, but I knew I wanted to do something in that field of making money. But anyways, I was always skeptical as well because even Spencer himself, when we talked about it, when his cousin was doing it, he said it's kind of, he doesn't really know what his cousin's doing, but his cousin was paying, I think, like $10 an hour to set appointments for him.
Yeah, my cousin used to pay me to make phone calls for him $10 an hour, which was more than I could get paid anywhere else. So I knew he was making money.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Spencer even said himself, like, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. It's kind of sus, but you can make some money doing it if you want to do it. But anyways, so I pitched the idea to my parents. This was actually during COVID when Spencer was seriously recruiting me to come and work. And we come from a town where people aren't making a lot of money really. Like if you make six figures, you drive like a 2010 Mercedes-Benz.
You're loaded.
You're making it. Everybody talks about you like you're rich. So the thought of making six figures, like he said, bro, you can come down to Florida, you can make six figures your first year. I kind of believed it, but I pitched it to my parents. They're like, if everybody could make six figures their first year, 20 years old, no college degree, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep, that's what my parents said too.
So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But it was always in the back of my mind. Keep in mind, Spencer was just starting first few months, making some money, but nothing crazy. And I was skeptical, asking for pictures of his bank account, stuff like that to know if it was legit, like Googling and reading everything I could on the company. But I was more so loyal to playing football and my teammates. I was a team captain, stuff like that. And also I didn't want to let my parents down. My parents paid for my college, so they were super against the idea of coming and doing this. So I told myself, all right, I'm going to finish college, but I still had this idea in my mind, still kind of, not sure if I really wanted to do it. But I don't know if you want to talk about this, but flash forward to whenever you took me to Cancun with the company's convention, I feel like that was the first step where I was like, this is for sure what I want to do.
Yeah, so to everyone watching, what I want you to know is whenever there's an opportunity out there like this with virtual sales where there's a bunch of people making a bunch of money, it's not common and it's not ordinary. Ordinary people make average ordinary money and they work average ordinary schedules, AKA 9 to 5. So if you look up the average salary for somebody fresh out of college, it's like $50,000, which is nothing. And on top of that, their average schedule is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And that's what most people do because that's what most people are taught to do. You go through high school, you finish, you brainlessly get into college, not even wanting to, but you're kind of just doing it and you're drifting. You go through college, next thing you know, you're graduating in 4 years, you're addicted to drugs and alcohol, you're hooking up with a bunch of random girls covered in vices and terrible things, and you just drift into a 9 to 5, not even knowing what you want to do, but again, you're just drifting. The devil's just channeling you into where he wants you to go, where you don't think for yourself. And then next thing you know, you're in a 9 to 5, getting scammed, only making $50K a year, and you're like the majority of the world. However, then there's people that can think for themselves and are willing to take a risk and go against the normal way of life, which is like myself and like you. So when I'm young and 20 years old, making more than average money, extraordinary money, the ordinary person can't wrap their head around it. So the first thing they go to is that can't be possible, has to be a scam, has to be illegal. And the reason I know that's true is because when I was brainwashed into the system and couldn't think for myself, and I just thought what was taught to me, which is go to school, go to college, get a 9 to 5, that was back when I was 18. When I was like that in that situation, I saw my cousin making a boatload of money in sales, and I was completely ignorant on what sales was, what the company's name was. I didn't know anything about it, but I automatically told all my friends, like you can even ask Brian in high school, people would say, what's your cousin do where he's making all this money and he's only 25? I'm like, oh yeah, pyramid scheme. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's selling drugs or it's a pyramid scheme, but yeah, he does make money though. So I put myself back in that position and realized when I was saying those things, I was completely uneducated, had no idea what the company's name was, what he was selling. I was just saying that because that's what just comes to mind for the average person that's taught what to think. So I wasn't mad when I tried recruiting Brian and his first response was, that's a pyramid scheme, or, oh, my parents said that's a pyramid scheme. So to anyone out there that wants to join our virtual sales team, my advice to you is if you look up the name of the company that we work for, it's Globe Life. So Globe Life owns the naming rights to the Texas Rangers ballpark stadium, which is where the World Series was played and won, like I think last year. Globe Life is also the official life insurance company of the LA Lakers. Globe Life is also the official life insurance company of the Dallas Cowboys, arguably the two biggest names in football and basketball. And Globe Life is on the S&P 500 index or whatever the heck they say. So it's not a pyramid scheme because pyramid schemes are illegal. So if it was illegal, we wouldn't work with the two biggest sports teams in the entire country. So it's not a pyramid scheme. Anybody that tells you it's a pyramid scheme is completely uneducated. It is a life insurance sales company that's been around for over 100 years. We pay money to people's families on the worst day of their life. When their loved ones pass away, we send them money to help them take care of those expenses and help pay for other things that are no longer able to be paid for. So Brian said it was a pyramid scheme before he joined when he was ignorant. I said it was a pyramid scheme before I joined when I was ignorant. And now when we recruit people, we already know some of them are going to say, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. My parents told me that's a pyramid scheme. So my advice to you is look up the definition of a pyramid scheme and tell me if this is a pyramid scheme. Because a pyramid scheme is illegal, so it would be shut down. We wouldn't be talking about it on social media every single day. And number two, the way pyramid schemes work is you have to pay money to join, and there's not an actual product being sold. Nobody pays us one single penny to join our team. It's completely free, and we sell life insurance. So that is completely debunked, and I just wanted to throw that out there for all the viewers because that's something I went through when I was joining, and I know you went through it too, is everyone saying that's a pyramid scheme, that's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. One other thing that I just thought of is that whenever you were like reaching out to me, I'm like, he just wants to make money off me because like that's why he's reaching out to me, not for my own best interest, but because he wants to make money off me. But then when I matured in my thinking, I realized every company, there's somebody that makes a lot of money off the work of people that are, you know, front level, entry level workers like Amazon. You got Jeff Bezos, you got the executives, you got managers, and then you got people that are making $15 an hour. But Amazon posts hiring and nobody says a word that it's a pyramid scheme. So, like you said, people are just not taught to think that way growing up. And that's why most people are in a trap, 9-to-5 trap, the Matrix, everything like that.
On top of that, this is how successful people think versus how broke people think about sales. So broke people think, oh, that's weird. He's recruiting you. He's just trying to make money off you, blah, 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 blah. What successful people think and what I think, the reason I truly recruit people super aggressively is because I'm well aware 90% of people I come across on a daily basis don't make as much money as they want to. They don't get to make their own schedule. They don't get to work from anywhere. They usually get told where they have to be, when they have to be there, what they can wear. They don't get to take vacations whenever they want. Most people are told these are the few days a year you get to take vacation. And on top of that, they probably don't work with people that they want to be around. They're working with like 60-year-old Karens a lot of the times. So when I'm recruiting, I'm not recruiting thinking I want to make a couple extra $100 off this person per month, even though that is nice. And when you have a team, you make money off people's sales. What I'm thinking is I know for a fact that I can help this person make more money than they're currently making, which I know they want to. I know for a fact they can have a better schedule because with us, you get to make your own schedule. I know for a fact they would like to work from home and not have to go travel to an office and wear a suit every single day. And on top of that, I know for a fact that if they work with us, they're probably going to be attracted to us because they're like-minded, someone that's young, competitive, wants to make a lot of money, wants to get in the gym, wants to get tapped in with the Holy Spirit and all of those things. So I'm aggressively recruiting people because I know their life would be 10 times better and they'll be 10 times happier if they're working with us than if they continue to stay where they're at. But sometimes you got to get aggressive and creative to catch people's attention, to make them realize and open their eyes that wherever they're at, they're not happy. And if they stay there for the rest of their life, they're going to live a lifelong, unhappy, unfulfilled life. So really, I do whatever it takes to get people's attention, to help them open their eyes. Like, thank God I finally got Brian's attention that you can make more money than you're currently making. You can have an awesome schedule, work with fun people, and enjoy your life. And then eventually you can grow your own team too, where you can present that opportunity to other people.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, not only that, but especially when you feel the life change of, for example, we've both completely changed our lives in the past few years from this company. So when you feel that, you almost feel selfish not sharing that with other people. And I always think to myself, imagine if Spencer gave up on recruiting me because I told him that's not legit, I don't want to do that, whatever I was saying. I would have been probably making $50K, wearing a suit,
hating your life,
hating my life, everything like that. So I always tell myself,
not in church, drinking, viced out.
I always tell myself there's thousands of people out there in America, if not millions, that are just like me, that have a good work ethic, want to make a lot of money, but don't even know how to make money and don't even know where to put that work ethic, like the correct vehicle to actually exercise that work ethic. There's so many people out there that are hungry to make money and change their life, but they don't know how. So I didn't know how. I didn't know that this was a thing when I was in high school, when I was in college. So it's kind of our job to spread the word and educate people that you don't have to work in a 9-to-5, be broke, be paycheck to paycheck, never go on vacation, never buy nice stuff for your family. Like, it is possible for a normal person like us to change your life, become a millionaire at a young age, drive supercars, live in nice places, etc.
Yes, but more importantly than that, and then we'll get into his story of his first few years on the team and his best tips. But for you guys to know, 2 years ago, like I said, Brian was a pizza delivery driver. I don't think you'd ever been in church, correct?
Never.
Never once been to church. Probably was doing drugs and alcohol, if I had to guess.
Correct.
And I don't even know, on top of that, was probably crumbling physically, not in the gym like you should be, eating crap, processed foods, the whole nine. So when Brian joined the team, this is the best part about when you're with us. If you want to grow your own team, you can do this for other people as well, because Brian now has his own team and does what I'm about to say happened to Brian to people on his team. Brian comes in. Yes, he made more money. In 2 years, he has enough to buy a Lamborghini Aventador cash. That's the one where the doors go up. He lives in this penthouse. He does what he wants, whenever he wants. He eats where he wants, helps provide for his family. The finances are great. But since joining our team, Brian now goes to church every single Sunday. He's been baptized. He's in the gym every single day, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, and if I had to guess, is a lot happier with his life than he was before he got recruited onto the sales team. So it's not all just about money. I loved this opportunity because I knew once I master sales and I can teach people how to make money, I can bait and switch them in with the money and just, they think they're coming in just to learn how to make money. But when you're in a leadership position, you can impact people's lives in a much bigger, better way than just financially. So all these people out there that they want to make an impact and make a difference in people's lives, but they don't do anything for anybody. If you get into an opportunity like this and get into a leadership position like Brian has, when you're recruiting, it's not just about the money. It's more of a mission with a purpose of, okay, I'm going to bring these people in, change their life financially, but make them a whole better person as well, and ultimately just lead them to God, which is what I do and what Brian does for his team now too. So Brian, let's get into when you joined the team. Talk to him about how you got to Florida, because you're from Pennsylvania like me. How'd you get there? How much money did you have? And what was the first month in the business like for you?
Okay. So I actually graduated from Oberlin December of 2022. I knew I was going to be doing the insurance sales. So I kind of made a decision, no plan B. I never filled out a job application, resume, didn't even know how to do any of that stuff. I'm like, I'm going down to Florida with my boy Spencer, and we're about to run it up in life insurance. All faith, no fear. So keep in mind, I was playing college football. I was kind of like an idiot, degenerate. I never worked a full-time job. I worked, like Spencer said, at a pizza shop and at a smoothie shop at a gym. Never had over maybe $1,500 to my name, literally ever. So when I graduated, I was doing the licensing, getting through the background check, all that type of stuff to actually come and start working. And I had no money. And I basically had to ask my parents for a small loan for money to drive down to Florida and also to stay in a motel to actually even be able to get to Florida. So I packed up all my belongings in my Nissan Rogue 2008. I think one of the rims was missing. It was dented, beat up, like AC didn't even work, like nothing. It was crappy, even though I'm grateful for it. But I packed everything up. My mom gave me a little bit of money just to survive. She thought I was going to be homeless. She didn't think I'd be able to afford food or nothing like that. But luckily, thank God for Spencer, he paid for my rent for the first 2 months. He said, if you send it down to Florida, I'll pay for your rent for the first 2 months. After that, you'll be able to afford it, no problem. So I was like, bet, no excuses now. Took everything down by myself. It was kind of an emotional trip. I felt like I was, starting a new life driving down to Florida. But I drove all the way down. Like I said, to my name, I had $88. I posted a screenshot.
88.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like, I came from poverty or anything like that, but I never had a job. And when I would make a little bit of money, if I had $500 in my bank account, I was buying a $400 pair of Jordans.
Yep.
I was just an idiot with money. So that's how I ended up with $88. But anyways, my mom gave me money, drove all the way down, and I was sleeping in a apartment type house that Spencer had paid for my rent in. And I was sleeping on an air mattress. I would wake up at around 5, 6 a.m. The air mattress would be half deflated. And I didn't even want to stay in bed. It wasn't comfy. And I would wake up just pissed off that I could not afford to buy a bed, even if I wanted to. So it was all right, I'm going to the gym. And then I'm driving straight from the gym to our office in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is where we originally were living. And I had no friends in Tampa. I only knew Spencer, really. So it's like I had no distractions. And I basically saw what Spencer had done, not just financially, but like he was saying, going to church, getting up early, not drinking, no vices, nothing like that. And I knew that if I wanted what he had, then I had to do what he did. So I made a decision to myself. I was cutting off all drugs and alcohol, all girls, not going out, sleeping in, like every TV, every distraction and vice that I knew would be holding me back and kept me unhappy, broke in my old life that I was trying to get out of. I remember actually watching a podcast with Spencer and one of our other mentors, Simon Arias, where he said that he had death to his old life to get to his new life. So I knew that's what I needed to do, is like cold turkey, cut everything off. And a lot of times people think they need to add things to their life, or people ask, what do you do to make a lot of money? But really, it's what do you not do? And it's addition by subtraction, and subtracting all the things that are keeping you back that are just straight up distractions. So to give up, or to go up, you got to give up. So I had to give up a lot of stuff, and it made it easy to basically work all day, every day. I was starving for money. Like, I knew that if I didn't make money, I couldn't pay my rent, I couldn't eat. And so I had no choice, really, but to work all day, every day, hungry, like wasn't distracted, wasn't trying to make friends, wasn't trying to talk to anybody. And I told myself that nobody would get there at the office before me and nobody would stay later. And I knew that, like we were saying earlier, a lot of people will blame the opportunity, but I made a promise to myself, like I wasn't going to blame the opportunity. I was going to make it to where everything was my fault, to where I couldn't complain about anything with the opportunity unless I was the hardest worker, making the most phone calls, working the most hours. Only then could I say, yeah, this doesn't work. So basically, I put it all on myself and tried to be the hardest worker in all aspects like that. My first month, official month selling, was March 2023. I did about $23,000 of production total. It got me paid roughly $10,000. The first week, I think I made like $600, just kind of learning the ropes. Second week, actually calling leads, I made $4,300. And I literally couldn't believe it. I could believe it because I knew Spencer was making money, but it was like, wow. When I saw that hit my bank account, I was thinking to myself, I feel like I got scammed my whole life, because why did I go to college and they're preparing you for years to go make $60K when I just made $4,300 in 1 week, and I hardly even knew what I was doing. I was
reading a script.
Reading
just
a script.
Blacked out, reading it, not even knowing what it says.
Exactly. Hardly even knowing what the script says, reading it word for word, and like Spencer said, blacked out, like couldn't even see to the right or left of me, just so focused on the client. But anyways, that increased my belief in what we were doing. And I wasn't even like really trying to recruit per se, but like I said earlier, I felt selfish to not share what was going on, that I was making money, that people around me were driving like crazy cars. Spencer had a G-Wagon. Like, I just couldn't stop talking about it. Anybody that I spoke to, it was like that's all I could talk about or think about, because I was completely obsessed. So my first month I made $10,000 roughly, and the next month maybe $13,000 to $15,000, somewhere around there. I don't know if you want me to go on, but
yeah, no. So I would say some of the takeaways I get there is people ask, is it possible for me to make 10K in a month within the first year? And you made 10K your first month ever. No sales experience. You didn't even know what the heck you were saying or selling. I just told you, hey, read this script and just read it a lot. And you probably sounded horrible still at that point. It was just you were working so hard. So it is so possible to make 10K or more your first month. And back then, that was 2 years ago, our systems and scripts were not as good as they are now. I'm pretty sure you didn't get as many leads as the new agents get now. You probably got like a fourth of as many leads.
Yep.
And on top of that, there was only a couple people for you to look up to in the office that were making big money to be like, okay, if those 4 or 5 people can do it, I can do it too. When people start now, they get more leads than you got, better systems and scripts than you got, and there's literally probably close to 100 people on the team within the agency that are making over 100,000. So for me, my mindset's if one other person can do it, I can do it too, if not better. Imagine joining and there's 100 people doing what you want to do. it almost makes it impossible not to make it, because you just know, like, okay, if 100 people can do this with the same leads I'm getting, the same script I'm getting, and everything's the same, how could another person not do it? Well, the answer is excuses and victim mentality. They blame everything but themselves, which is another thing I picked up on from you. You said you just wanted to put everything on you. So you wanted to basically see if you could prove me wrong.
Yeah,
so if you work as
much.
I would love for someone to prove me wrong. When I say, hey, if you are coachable to what we say and you work hard, you'll make 100 grand. I'd love for you to try to prove me wrong. Because when you try to prove me wrong by doing those things, you're going to end up making way more than 100 grand.
Exactly.
And the last takeaway I got was you said you were sleeping on an air mattress that would be deflated when you woke up, and you basically hated it so much that one of your driving factors was you were just so mad you couldn't get
A bed.
So you literally had to work harder, back against the wall, starving. I think a big mistake some people make is they are so used to staying comfortable that it never brings that inner dog out. Like when we hire people and they live in their parents' house, they don't have any bills, they have a nice bed to sleep in, their parents pay for their food, they've got nothing to worry about. Like, I can't even talk to you. Like, I don't understand you. We have nothing in common. My advice to you would be move out and literally go stay somewhere where you don't have a bed, you don't have food guaranteed, you don't have anything. And if you want to eat and if you want a place to sleep, then you got to earn it. And when you put yourself in that situation like you did and like I did, you realize what you're capable of, because it forces you to do it. But so many people love to stay comfortable. And the truth is, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. So if you want big change, you got to make a big change. And the best change, one of the best changes I've ever done, and for you, is you go from a comfortable place where, like you and me, we lived in our parents' house, guaranteed food every single day, didn't have to earn it, bed to sleep in, didn't have to earn that, car to drive, didn't have to earn anything, which leaves you a lazy, comfortable victim. But when I moved to Tampa, and when you moved to Tampa, it's like, okay, this is uncomfortable because my parents aren't here to give me food and they don't have money to send me anyway. If I don't make money, I'm going to be homeless. And basically, I've got no money for anything. So it literally forces you to work. And then you realize through that forced hard work, what you're capable of when you actually work hard and you're intentional with your hours. You realize, oh my goodness, it's easy to afford food. It's easy to afford a place to sleep. And if I just keep working hard, I can afford to sleep wherever I want to sleep, like this penthouse. I can eat whatever I want to eat, drive whatever I want to drive, give to whoever I want to give to. You can earn as much money as you want, but you have to work hard and you have to be hungry and intentional, which you'll never be if you're just comfortable your whole entire life. So that's my takeaways from what you were saying.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to go through that feeling of always having to check your bank account before you buy anything and going up to the gas station and scraping together the change in your car just to like get $5 in gas. Like, you got to go through that to realize you hate being broke so bad that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Like, no excuses. Doesn't even make sense to talk to somebody else or scroll on Instagram when you're just like straight up starving. Like, we tell people all the time, what we're looking for is somebody with a PhD.
Yes.
Which means poor, hungry, desperate. Which sounds bad, but like, that's what you need, is somebody that's just so starving to work that they're down to wake up early and go to bed late and sacrifice everything, because that's truly what it takes if you want to make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, not just in our industry.
Anywhere.
People think it's just here.
Nope.
Bro, anybody that's a millionaire, they went through a stage where it was like all day, every day, obsessed.
Hungry and desperate.
100-hour weeks, like everything on the line. And that's what's kind of like beautiful about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's your story right there that you're creating, is this from struggle to where we are now.
To where we're going.
We're just getting started. Exactly.
I remember when I was in my first month, someone asked me like, so what's your favorite part about the opportunity? And I'm like, honestly, this might sound stupid, but I can go in a gas station and get anything I want and not have to look at my bank account. Because before I got into sales, it was, okay, I'm going into a gas station. I can't afford the yellow Gatorade. I can't afford that Fiji water. So I got to buy this crappy 99-cent water.
Facts.
And then honestly, I might have to ask the lady behind me to buy me like a protein shake because I don't have enough money for that. So 1 month, it was life changing. I could go into a gas station anything I want. Protein shake, the Fiji water, snacks. It was just a crazy feeling.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking too, a big motivator for why I was like, I want to do sales and I want to get rich, like it really like clicked with me, was because my parents always gave me money for food. Like if I ever needed money, it was like they'll give me $20 to go to the mall or whatever it took, but I could never get something by myself for myself without basically relying on them and being so dependent on my parents to do anything. Like if I needed gas money to drive somewhere, they're asking, where are you going? Why are you going there? Like there was no freedom. So I felt so trapped with everything, and I just wanted my own money, being able to buy whatever I wanted, do what I wanted to do, live where I wanted to, like go where I wanted to go, everything like that. So that was a big motivator for me as well.
Yeah, so the reason I'm having Brian dive into all this is because if you guys didn't know him from a few years back, you might look at his Instagram and you might think rich parents, you might think it's always been like this, you might think whatever you might think, but it's important for people to know that for him and for me, before what you see right now was probably a similar situation to what you're in, where you see an opportunity, you've got all these thoughts running through your head about it's too good to be true, or I can't do that, that they must be special, or I kind of want to take a risk and bet on myself, but I have this salary that I could stick with and stay comfortable. I kind of want to move out of my hometown, but all my friends are here. I don't want to have no friends or whatever. So what you need to realize is if you really want big time results in life, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to listen to people that you would trade places with. You're going to have to sacrifice. But the good news is when I moved to Florida, I kept in mind that wherever I go, God is with me. So I don't need friends. I don't need my family around. I don't need guaranteed income. Because with God, all things are possible. Anything is possible with God. So that's what I thought when I was moving to Florida. I'm like, okay, I got these brokies that the devil's talking in their ear telling me, oh, you're going to be homeless. You're not going to be able to afford food. You need a comfortable salary, 9 to 5. All I know is if there's an opportunity out there that even has a chance, slight sliver of me being able to do something, if I'm partnered up with God, I can do it guaranteed. It's no questions asked. I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew it would happen because I was just going to keep God by my side the whole entire time. So that would be my advice for you is stop being fearful. And if you're not already connected with God, then you need to get connected with God. And if you are connected with God, why would you have any fear about if something's going to work out? Because everything works out when you're connected with God. You just have to put your faith in him and trust in him that he's going to make it happen. But Brian, to wrap it up here, what are your 3 best tips for people that are thinking about getting into virtual sales with us on the team? Or actually, for people that just started with us. So like, let's say someone's watching this video, they decide to apply for the team with the link in my Instagram bio, but they want your best tips. Someone that was in their position and now they're living a life of their dreams. What would be your 3 best tips?
So just like you were saying, I mean, the first week I was invited to church for the first time, and I was not raised in church.
Shout out to Noah Von Gunden.
Nothing like that. I was invited to church by Noah, and like I said, I always knew I wanted to go to church, but I never really had the right friend group that was inviting me there. And I just kind of realized that the way that I was living my life was not how I wanted to live my life. So thank God I was saved the first time that I went to church. And I was taught by Spencer and other people in the business to read the Proverbs every single day. So there's 31 chapters of the Proverbs, which is a book in the Bible that teaches you about wisdom, how to be wise, and how to live a financially successful life. And there's 31 days of most months. So he taught me to read a chapter every day and implement it in your daily life. So that would be my tip number 1, because when I started reading that, it teaches you how to think. It teaches you that hard workers get rich, and lazy people
are guaranteed to be poor.
Exactly. If you're lazy, you're soon poor. Hard workers get rich. It teaches you to be humble. It teaches you to be kind, to be generous. It teaches you to have vision, have faith. So like having God in my life, that changed everything for me, because like Spencer said, I never really had that all faith, no fear mindset. Like I always had the devil in my mind. Like, what if this fails? What if it doesn't work out? What if it goes under? Like all these negative thoughts that would come into my head. But when you give your life to God, you realize that you're in the passenger seat of your life and it's all his plan anyways. You almost can't even control it. You just have to trust it. And that gave me like such like
Peace?
the peace, like the peace that makes no sense, to where I knew it was going to work out, and I just could let go of all the stress and all the worries of my life and actually just act without thought almost. So for sure, give your life to God would be tip number one, and read the Bible every day and implement it, because it teaches you how to be a good person, and all good people are blessed by God, and hard workers get rich, and all that type of stuff there. Number two, and keep in mind, this all kind of ties into, like, if you just read the Bible, you don't even need 3 tips. It's
Facts.
like you just need that, you know what I mean? But something I always tell people is you have to stay even keel, never too high, never too low. You're never doing as bad or as good as you think you are. So that ties into where it says in the Bible, pride leads to destruction and humility precedes honor. So a lot of people, they start to make a little bit of money, they have a good week, they get on the leaderboards, like, and then they know it all. They don't want to listen to anybody. They don't want to be coachable. But I was taught day one, the hardest workers and the most coachable, really the most coachable makes the most money. So that's what I told myself. I had to leave my pride at the door and be humble and listen to everything that Spencer said, even though me and Spencer were boys growing up. Like, it's not like he was my boss or anything like that. But most people, they have ego, which stands for edging God out, and they want to just like do it their own way. But your own way got you where you are, which is broke and, not successful. So I knew I had to drop my ego and listen to everything that he said and be 100% coachable to it, and never get too high, never get too low. Even when I was doing well, I was still asking questions. I was still listening. I was still, doing everything that he said to do. And even when I had a bad day, when I was not having a great week, or I was having negative thoughts and everything, just realize that God got you. And if you just keep working hard, if you just keep showing up, eventually you will become successful. And a Bible verse that Spencer told us, like, one of my first weeks in the business, was still my favorite to this day, Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, that says, "Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up." Yep. So I would always repeat that to myself, like, don't get tired in the process when it's not working out, when people are quitting on you, when people aren't showing up. You had a bad day. Like, I had some of the worst days. Like, I felt like some days you're on top of the world, some days you're like the whole world's on top of you, you know what I mean? Yep. But like, I always taught myself that and repeated that to myself, like, one day I will be rewarded for my hard work. But the Bible says at the proper time, not on your time. So that's where the faith comes into play, where you have to have the faith in the vision that one day it'll be okay, even though it might not be today. The greatest enemy to vision is sight. So you have to see, the goal, like see the Lambo, see the penthouse, even when what you're seeing is in a utility closet, in a half suit with a paper stack for your laptop stand, with no money. Like, I got a speeding ticket for $250 and my bank account was $100. I was like, I'm not paying that till the end of the month. Like, those low days, you got to keep telling yourself, just keep showing up and just keep having faith that it'll all work out.
Facts.
So that's 2. I mean, probably the last one would be not just believe in God and have faith in God, but also believe in yourself. Like Spencer said, if one person can do it, then you can do it too. Like, the best people in any industry are so confident. It's like 51% humility, 49% ego or confidence or whatever it is, to where it's like you still have that confidence that if somebody else did it, I can do it. All I got to do is do what they do and know what they know. And how could I not have the exact same result that they have? And something that I also was thinking of when Spencer was talking earlier, that I feel like I had an advantage over other people because I knew him prior, not because he gave me good leads or any thing like that, but because I saw that he wasn't special. Like, he wasn't God's gift to earth, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, when they're brand new and they see Spencer making a lot of money, driving nice cars, they think like, oh, he's just different. He's always been like that. Just like he was saying about me, nobody is like that. Nobody is special, but people have special habits and people have special mindsets, but it's developed every single day by pouring positive motivation and education into your brain, investing into your spirit, like building your spirit, building your faith, everything like that. So you guys should be looking at us and realizing that even though you don't see it now, flashback to when we were 17 years old, like we were skinny idiots, vandalizing stuff, like getting in trouble, like just swearing, doing just bad stuff, like the worst kids you could probably, like not that bad, but like not good. You know what I mean? You wouldn't look at those kids and be like, they're gonna be millionaires in a few years. Nope. So, but again, we had a special process and habits and mindset that got us to where we are. And I feel like anybody can do that if they just follow the laid out blueprint of how to be successful in insurance sales, which luckily that's our job, is to teach other people. So that'd be my third tip right there.
Yes, sir. And to wrap it up, I'm going to throw one free tip in for everybody watching. Tip number one, you got to give your life to God. And if you really want confidence, confidence is found in the fact that you're the son or daughter of the person that created the entire universe. So really anything you need, God's got you. You got nothing to worry about. But my second tip is you need to get around people that love you enough to tell you the truth, which is one thing you get when you join our sales team. We'll tell you the truth. Like if your habits are terrible, we're going to tell you that, hey, what you just said is pathetic, and that is what is keeping you poor. Let me teach you the right way to think about that situation, and let me teach you what someone that's successful would say. So for example, like if someone new comes in and they're just like, man, these leads don't answer, man. I'm going to say that was the weakest, most pathetic victim thing I've ever heard. And guess what? That is why you're poor. You blame everything else but yourself. What you should say is, I'm so grateful I have leads to call, and it's my fault these people aren't answering, so I'm going to crank it up a notch, and this next one's about to answer right here, right now. Because in the Bible, it says the tongue has the power of life and death. So if you're talking all this crap about the leads aren't going to answer, or these leads suck, or blah, 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 what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get that. But if you're talking life about next person's answering, this is my fault, good thing is I'm going to turn it up a notch and slam this person in right now, that's what you're going to get. On top of that, if you're out of shape, we're going to let you know, because you can make all the money in the world, but if you're 50 years old and fat, you're going to have health issues and you're going to have a heart attack. And then when your daughters graduate and you said you want to make all this money so you can get your daughter that car, get her that house, be able to provide for her. If you're fat, you might have a heart attack when you're 50. And I don't want my friends dying when they're 50 or when I'm 50. And I just want to see people living their best life. I used to be severely, severely, severely underweight, which is just as bad as being super overweight. I didn't like the way I looked. I would see a picture of myself and not be happy. I'd be full of shame and insecurity. So I know how that feels. And I wish I would have had someone who was where I wanted to be physically tell me, you look pathetic. Come to the gym with me tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm going to teach you how to work out. I'm going to teach you what to eat. And in 2 years from now, you're going to love how you feel. But no one would tell you the truth like that because they're scared to offend you. You join our team, we love you so much that we're going to tell you the truth. Like, you need to get into shape if you want to feel your best and be able to perform your best as well, and many other things too. So get around people that have what you want and will tell you the truth. And that's all I got.
I got one more thing that I just thought of when you said that a lot of people need to learn how to think. So being grateful is the easiest way to multiply your blessings. So we always say BCD, blaming, complaining, defending, are blessing blockers.
Yep.
And people have, for example, people will complain about the leads that they're bad. You can see every scenario positively or negatively from different perspectives. So a broke person says, these leads suck, they don't pick up, BCD. But a grateful person and a person that's soon to be wealthy is grateful for what they're given rather than complaining about what they're given. And the Bible says if you're trusted with a little, you'll also be trusted with a lot.
Yep.
So people need to learn to be grateful for what they have, and God will multiply your blessings whenever you're grateful for it, versus if you're complaining about it, you're bashing your car, your job, any of this type of stuff, you're never going to get more of it. God's never going to give you more of it because you always complain about what you're given. So really, like, life changes when you learn how to think about every scenario and realize that your life is where you thought it to be.
Yep.
You know?
To wrap it up, guys, 3 things in life that you need if you want to take your life from where you are to the next level. Number 1, first and foremost, always, you need God. But the second two things you need is you need an opportunity that can provide you what you want. A 9-to-5 can't provide you $1 million a year. It's impossible. You're not in control of your income. So you need an opportunity where you're in control of how much money you can make. And then you need a mentor who can teach you how to think and how to get the most out of that opportunity with proven track results that they've done it themselves. That's what changed my life. I gave my life to Jesus. I got into an insurance opportunity with unlimited earning potential. And I learned from a guy who is in the company for 17 years already. He taught me how to think and he taught me how to perform in the insurance industry, which changed my life. Brian came in, didn't know how to think, didn't know how to perform, wasn't close to God. Got close to God, got around me. I taught him how to think. I taught him how to perform in this industry. He was coachable and he worked hard, changed his life. If you guys are looking for an opportunity, I run the virtual sales team. Brian also runs his own virtual sales team. So you could hit either one of us up. We're going to encourage you to get closer to God. We're going to do our best to teach you how to think the same way Simon, my mentor, taught me how to think. And then we're going to teach you how to sell. We'll teach you how to build a team if you want to. And you can have the same exact results because it's the same company, same opportunity, and we've already paved the way for you. So if you're looking for an opportunity like that, click the link in my Instagram bio, schedule an interview, or click the link in Brian's Instagram bio. He's got his own interview. It's every single Monday at 8 p.m. We'll see you then. The best is yet to come. Like this video, drop a comment, subscribe. We got much more coming. Thank you.